Alrighty, we're going to be upgrading a luxury apartment. The tenants moved out and we're going to fix it up. We're going to replace all the outlets. We're going to put all brand new outlets in. Here in the country I was born in, we use 14 American wire gauge on 50 amps, 12 American wire gauge on 20 amps. Black is live, white is neutral, the bare or the green is the ground. Red and blue are also live colors. However, you may find white live in a switch loop or a 220, 240 volt circuit where the appliance does not require a neutral. So I'll show you how to replace outlets here in the country I was born in. Okay, we'll start with our first one here. See, they put the wrong kind of screw in here, and what will happen is it will break through the back of the outlet. So I'll unscrew it from the box here and see what we got here. Pull it out. Wow, they didn't even put the wires around the screw. They do have a ground, but see how they didn't even get the wires under the screw head there? See how that could just be pushed out of there? Let's look at the black, see how they did on the black. Same thing, they just tucked the wire under the screw head. That is not how to hook an outlet up. And that wire was just tucked under the screw head, and it popped out as soon as I turned it. That's all her. Read his rights, plus all of his charges. All right, so now we'll hook it up the right way. They do have a crimp sleeve on the ground wires like you're supposed to. So we have our new outlet here. So we'll strip our wires back a little bit longer here, and we'll put our wires around the screw the way that they're supposed to be. That's 12, we're using 14. Okay, so we'll take and we'll put our 2 black wires on the brass screws here. See, we have to close that loop a little bit better here. There we go. Make sure it's good and tight. Make our loop the direction our screw turns. Make sure it's good and tight and our insulation is not caught under the screw head. So just turn our outlet around here. Put our ground wire up on the green screw here. Close our loop around the screw. Okay, we'll put our white on the silver colored screw here. We want to make sure we don't get that insulation caught under the screw head, and we want to make sure our copper is under the screw head all the way around. Make sure it's good and tight. You always put your wire around the screw, the direction the screw turns. Okay, so there we are. We got a good solid connection, so we're going to push our grounds over this way so that it stays out of the way of our connections here. And we'll screw our outlet back into the box. I'm going to push our ground wire up this way so it stays away from everything. And we're going to put brand new covers on here because they're going to repaint this apartment. So we'll make sure it's screwed into our box nice and tight here. So let's see how they hook this one up. So loose. Fortunately, our box is nice and solid. This one isn't hooked up too bad because that is made to be hooked up like this. So we'll undo our white wires. I'll just take my tester and make sure it's off. Over here. We have some junk in here that doesn't belong in here. So we'll get our wires out so we can strip them longer and we'll put them around the terminals the right way on our new outlet. If you look closely, you'll see a narrow slot and a wide slot. The black wire goes to the brass screw, which is the narrow slot. The white wire goes to the silver screw, which is the wide slot. And the ground wire goes on the green screw. It's howdy doody time. Howdy doody time. Okay, that's what we want. We'll flip it around this way. See how that wrapped up around? That's not good. So I'm going to loosen this up. Pull this wire back like this. And I'll bend it over the back of the device here to tighten it so it stays where I got it to stay. Okay, that's what we want. We're going to make sure our insulation's not caught under the screw head, which it isn't. Now we get our ground wire up around our green screw here. It's really short, so I'll just use my needle nose to push it in there. Maybe I push it. It's a lighter gauge wire, so I can probably get it to go under with my screwdriver, which I just did there. That works. So I'll just tighten this up. That wire wrapped up around the screw again, so I'm going to loosen it up. I just loosen my loop up a little bit. There we go. We got it. Our copper back a little bit further. Now we'll tighten it down. Okay, now we got it nice and tight. Our copper's under the screw head all the way around. Our insulation's not pinched. So now we can push this back into our box here. I'll push our ground wire over so it stays away from everything, and we'll get this back into our box. Okay, so I'll screw it in. See, it's nice and tight now. We'll put our cover back on. So, we're going to shorten the screw so we don't bust out the back of the outlet. Okay, so we're going on to our next one here. This one's on a wire mold box. So let's see what we got here. They used a screw way too long on this cover, so I wouldn't be surprised if the back of the outlet is busted out. Okay, there's no ground wire in here. So we'll take our tester and we'll make sure this is off. Okay, there's power here. And I don't see a place to put a green screw. So if you can't do it, you can't do it. So you don't frustrate. Life's about trucking forward. You don't look back. And you don't worry about what you can't do. I am going to take the cover off this box, and I'm going to verify that before I say, no, I'm not doing it. Because I will look and make sure that I can't. Okay, we went and shut the breaker off, so we're going to take this thing off of here, and we're going to look, see if there's a place to put the ground screw, and if not, we can't. But we are going to make every effort to do it, because there is no hole to put a ground screw, so if you can't do it, you can't. Unless this is one right here. If it is, praise God, and if it isn't, praise God. But we are going to make the, nope. So, no ground it is. So, we're not frustrating, we're not going to get upset, we're going to just go without. Because if you can't do it, you can't. You just have to look in your Webster dictionary, look up the word can't, understand the word, comprehend the word, and know what the word means. But we made every attempt, didn't we? But the wire mold is metal, and it is connected to through the wire mold and grounded through the wiring. So when you screw this to the box, the ground screw is connected to that, so it bonds the box to the outlet, which is the ground. Okay, so we'll just close the green screw, which we cannot use. Not because I don't want to use it, and it's because it's not possible. And we don't frustrate over things that are not possible. You just praise God, you worship Him, put your eyes on Jesus, and do the best you can. And it is what it is. You just have to worship Jehovah and praise and trust in Him and do the best you can. Okay, so we'll put our white wire on the silver screw. Make sure it's nice and tight. Okay, there, that's what we want. So now let's put our wires into our box here. Okay, we'll put our cover back on here. Then we will shorten our screws so we don't break the back of the outlet out. So the outlet I took out of here has a metal strap across the back, so that's how come it didn't break the back out of the outlet. That is the older one that we took out. So we take this one on here. That's the kind of a job they did hooking this one up. Okay, they backstabbed it, and they were too lazy to put the ground wire around the green screw. So we'll just pull the wires out of the holes. See, I don't like these holes, because see how easy those wires are coming out? So this ground wire coming into this box is what's grounding the outlets downstream. So we do have a ground, but it's just not the best ground. But it is what it is. You just have to praise God and be thankful for what you have. Not everything's going to be perfect. When you Okay, so I'll clip a little off of there because that was, see how that's all corroded there? Or not corroded, all covered with paint. So we'll take our new outlet and we'll hook it up. We'll put our two white wires on the, we'll start with our black wires, we'll put them on the brass screw. There's the first one. Okay, there's our two black wires. We'll flip it around. We'll get our whites hooked up here. There's the first one. We'll get our second one up on here. Get all our wires around the screws. I don't like the backstab because they don't always make a good connection. Even though it's acceptable by code, it doesn't always make the best connection. There we go. We have our copper under the screw head all the way around, and our loops are closed. We'll put our ground wire around the green screw. By the way, these outlets are considered a self-grounding, so this grounding will bond it to the box and ground our wire mold as long as the wire mold is all connected together properly. Okay, there we go. Now we're going to keep this ground wire up and back over this way so we don't touch it against something we don't want it to touch against. And we'll just screw our device back in. Make sure it's good and tight. And make sure that screw's not hitting anything. That one's not hitting, and that one is not hitting. So we're going to go to our last living room outlet here. Okay, so we'll look and see what we got on this one here. Let's make sure it's on. And this one's all taped up. Oh, this one's on a plastic box. So this one must be fairly new. See how they hooked this one up, see what they did here. Okay, so we have the same thing here. This is probably a cheaper outlet. It's probably one you can get at the, like, remember the 5 and 10s they used to have, or Macquarie stores? And if they got our thinner ground wire, but they did put the crimp sleeve on it. Okay, so hey, that ground wire, that black wire broke right off. So we'll strip our wires back a little bit longer here. So we'll put our 2 black wires on the brass screw here first. Okay, we'll put our ground wire back around our green screw here. Okay, there we go. Put our white wire around the silver screw. Okay, we got our copper under the screw head all the way around, and our insulation is back away from the bottom of the, being under the screw head. That's what we want. Okay, I want to make sure insulation is not caught under our screw head. It looks very close, so I'm going to back this off again. Bring it back a little bit. And I'll bend it back over the device like this. Okay, I'm going to have to bring it back just a bit more because I don't want that insulation pinched under our screw head there. So I'm going to open our loop just a bit here. Bring it back just a little bit there. And I'll hold it back like this. There we go, and I can see our copper is just up to the base of the screw head. Our insulation is not pinched, and our copper is under the head all the way around. So now we put our outlet back into the box. I'm going to keep this ground wire up at the top so it stays away from everything here. Away from everything. Phillips is getting ready for the garbage. And we'll stick our cover back on here. Okay. We got a dimmer switch they want taken out because they're going to be taking out the older light. And we're going to put a non-dimmable LED light up. So let's see what they got here. Now we're not going to throw the dimmer away, we are going to save it. It's got a nice ceramic knob, so we're not going to throw this dimmer away. We're going to keep it for another light. Okay, so this is what we have. Ground wires are just twisted. So let's see how they do. The put number 12 on here, so we're going to take our tester and make sure the power is off. So let's see what they did here. They got an orange wire nut, which is too small, on two number 12 wires. Untape this and see what we have here. Let's see what they got in there. Those wires weren't even, and they were just barely making a good connection. So we'll take them, and we will strip this one just a little longer here. So number 12, so these are number 12 hole. Okay, we'll get our insulation even at the bottom like this here. We'll twist them together. Like that. And now we'll put the right size wire nut on here. This ground wire wasn't really connected very good. See how it was just put in there? And we'll take our black wires off here. That wasn't very good connection here. Let's see what they did with this one. That one wasn't very good either. So we will get the right size wire nut on these ground wires. Okay, so we get our right size wire nut on our white wires here. We'll just clip it a little shorter. Put our white size wire nut on here. Okay, now we'll get a tail ground wire to go to our switch. So we'll get our tail wire in here to go to our switch. We'll twist it in. And we'll clip it so it's even with all even on the end here. Put our wire nut on. Okay, so we gotta see if we push these wires back up and our jackets back up. And it doesn't look like we're gonna be able to, so we're gonna take our knife and we'll have to score our jacket here a little bit. So we can get more wire out. We'll just come down gently and just cut it on the end here. Here we go. And the same with this one over here. Now to cut in the wires. Okay, we'll cut off our jacket here. Get all our debris out on this side. And we'll do the same over here. Okay, we got it out as best we can. Okay, so we'll get our ground wires back into our box here. Get them out of our way. We'll fold our white wires back into our box. So now we can hook our switch up. Strip our wires back a little bit longer here. Make sure it's nice and tight. Our insulation's not pinched under the screw head. And we'll do our other black wire. See, we make sure we don't get our insulation caught under our screw head here. And our copper is under the screw head all the way around. Now we'll bring our ground over here and we'll put it around our green screw. That grounds the metal strap of the outlet here. We'll make sure it's good and tight there. And now we can fold our wires back into our device box here. So we're going to keep this ground wire over on this side of the switch where there's no terminals. And we can screw it back into our box. Here in the country I was born in, down is off, up is on, and if the switch is upside down, it will say no. That's an easy way to remember it. Whoops, my ground wire moved here, so I'm going to take this off. See how it moved a little bit here? So I'm going to loosen the screw up. Let them fall. I'm not going to care about them. I'm not going to frustrate. Okay. Okay, there. That's how we want it, like that. Alright, now we can push this back into the way we want it. Alrighty, so that is how to replace switches and outlets in the living room here in the country I was born in. Peace. Thanks for watching.